Hello and welcome to Fiction Fans, a podcast where we read books and other words too. I'm Lily.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're re-releasing an episode that we recorded when we first started the podcast.
So we won't be doing our quick 5-minute intro this time.
During the first year of the podcast, we combined 2 book conversations into each episode, along with some related segments like Pet Peeve Corner and Words Are Weird.
We decided to republish those conversations as separate episodes to give those books a better chance to shine.
These have been slightly remastered, but you can still enjoy our peak 2021 microphone technology.
If you want to listen to the original double feature, these are episodes 2 through 23 in our podcast feed.
And as always, come disagree with us.
We return to you again on this, our second step of our journey to the center of the Discworld. Book 2 is called The Light Fantastic, and of course, for those of you not in the know, Discworld is a series of books written by Terry Pratchett.
The late and great.
The late and great Sir Terry Pratchett, excuse me.
Yes.
It was pointed out to me that we never actually explained what the fuck a Discworld is.
Who needs that kind of information anyway?
you know,
Pshaw.
Basic setting details.
Nah, that's not important. That's not important.
Well, other than an ambiguously fantasy setting, what is a Discworld, Sarah?
So the Discworld is a disc that is carried on the back of 4 turtles.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I'm getting this completely. Like, I know. You know how when someone asks you a question and you're not expecting it, you just like your brain clams up, even though you completely know the answer. Like,
well, it's like we didn't explain it last time because asking what a Discworld is like asking what, I can't even come up with a simile now.
What an earth is?
Yeah, like what is a cat? Like, how do you explain what a cat is? It's a cat. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, so in this case, the Discworld is, well, a disc that is carried on the backs of 4 elephants, not turtles, but the elephants are standing on a turtle who is swimming through space.
And a disc, specifically, we mean a flat planet.
Yes, with water streaming off of its sides.
So that, and I mean, that is relevant, right? Because at the end of The Color of Magic, we leave Rincewind and Twoflower, the main characters of these books, plummeting over the side of the disc.
Yes.
They were launched into space, and that is almost exactly where this book picks up.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little time in between the end of The Color of Magic and the start of The Light Fantastic.
I don't remember how much this comes up in The Color of Magic, but our main critique of The Color of Magic, and by consequence The Light Fantastic, is that these feel more like a series of punchlines than a true narrative with a beginning, middle, and end. Would you say that's fair?
I'd say that's fair of the first one. I mean, The Color of Magic definitely has, I would say, 4 distinct arcs to it, but this one was much more coherent.
I was going to say this one introduced a through line that you sort of followed through all of the different hijinks that Rincewind and Twoflower get into. There's the sort of B plot of the wizards at the Unseen University trying to unravel a mystery that is sort of tangentially related to Rincewind until it is much more so. Why should you read this book, Sarah? Is it obvious because Discworld is good and it's part of it?
I mean, there's that, like, it has Terry Pratchett's characteristic wit and humor, even if it's not quite as refined as you get in later books. And it also has some really interesting social commentary, but in general, I think they're fun books. And this one is no different. It's fun.
It is. And definitely, if you're going to read The Color of Magic, you should read this one too.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to necessarily read one for the other.
I mean, I would almost say if you're only going to read one of the 2, I would almost say read The Light Fantastic.
Oh yeah, because he catches you up at the beginning of the book. Not with a plot of The Color of Magic, but he reintroduces all of the characters to you.
Yeah.
Although we still aren't recommending that you start Discworld with this book.
This is not the book to start Discworld with, no.
So if you already know Discworld, don't worry about spoilers. If you don't already know Discworld, go read a different one first and then come back and don't worry about spoilers. Does that sound fair?
I think that about sums it up. Yeah.
All right.
This episode of Fiction Fans is brought to you by Fiction Fans.
That's us. We really appreciate our patrons because otherwise we fund this podcast entirely ourselves.
Patrons can find weekly bonus content, monthly exclusive episodes, and have free access to our biannual zine, Solsticia.
You can find all of that and more at patreon.com/fictionfanspod. Thank you for all of your support.
The remainder of this episode contains spoilers.
One of the things we did love about The Color of Magic, I phrased that weird. We loved the whole book, just, one of the parts that stands on its own merit and not our obsessive fangirling is the way he subverts classic fantasy tropes. And this book, The Light Fantastic, has a few new ones for us to enjoy.
Although they're not quite as, the source material that he is using in the first, it's much more segregated in the first book. Like it's not a through line the way that it is here.
He sort of integrates the different references together instead of having each one stand in its own part.
Yeah, I think the integration is much better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Not that it's not very clear that he's riffing on Conan the Barbarian. I mean, the Barbarian is called Cohen. Like,
I love that though. What happens when Conan gets old?
It's wonderful.
It's a great question.
It is a really good question.
He loses all his teeth and it's really sad.
He has a really good quote about it about how he never gets any royalties. That's the saga of my life. 80 years in the business, and what have I got to show for it? Backache, piles, bad digestion, and 100 different recipes for soup. And I'm not doing the accent. Believe you me, you would be thanking me for that.
Because he's lost all his teeth.
Cohen has lost all his teeth, yeah.
But he gets dentures by the end, so, that's a successful character arc.
It all works out, yeah.
Okay, so he does end up with the sexy young virgin sacrifice that they rescue. And I have to remind myself that this book is hilarious, and that is supposed to be hilarious. Because if you remind yourself, or at least I had to remind myself, that that's a joke, and not, because you just see that so often that it's hard to remember that Pratchett means it as to be funny.
Yeah, he's very definitely not taking that as, yes, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
But then you get it, like, in real life, actors in Hollywood, a woman will play an actor's wife in one movie and then a year later play his mother. So, like, that age disparity between the genders is maybe just a sore point for me. But it's a joke. It's okay.
Yeah, he does not mean for it to be taken seriously as any sort of, like, actual relationship between the two.
Right. And, like, Bethan is a great character.
She is.
The sacrifice that they rescue Bethan.
She was very unhappy about being rescued, too. She wanted to be sacrificed.
I love, like, she's so good. This book is so funny. There is another gender issue that Pratchett riffs on. And I want to say riffs instead of touches on, because it is, like I said, it's a joke. It's supposed to be funny. It's okay. And he does do such a good job of the characters are being ridiculous, but you can clearly tell that he is making fun of them. Pratchett isn't saying that this is okay. He's just saying this is how they think. The wizarding school, the Unseen University, is all men. All wizards in this world are men.
And the senior officials or administrators who we see, who are generally the only wizards that we see, especially at this point in the series, are all old men.
He's clearly riffing off of academia, right?
Probably, yeah.
These old professors who do nothing but smoke and pontificate.
Old fuddy-duddies.
Yeah. So at one point, Rincewind needs the help of a spirit woman, not a spirit woman, of a chieftain's grandmother. She doesn't even really have a title. Just some lady who can do magic.
Shaman?
But there is a shaman that we see. and in a different area is the only reason why I don't want to use that phrase. It doesn't matter. She's a practitioner of magic, and she reads his tarot cards, and he's like,
Yeah.
I don't even believe in those. Those are women's work. And it's hilarious. Trust me, you had to be there. But the actual line, so he's confronted with needing this woman to help him. He still had his pride, and wizards don't like to see women perform even simple magic. Unseen University had never admitted women, muttering something about problems with the plumbing, but the real reason was an unspoken dread that if women were allowed to mess around with magic, they would probably be embarrassingly good at it. One of the other very poignant jokes that he makes is about classism, that you noted this one actually.
Oh, yeah. So there is a section in the book where Rincewind, who is talking about it?
He's probably talking about Two Flower.
Yes, he is talking about Two Flower, actually.
Just reading the quote, I could tell.
Yes. So Rincewind and Cohen are talking about Two Flower, and Rincewind is saying that essentially Two Flower's vision of what has just happened is a lot more idealistic and rose-colored than what actually just happened. And so Cohen asks, he's mad? Sort of mad, but mad with lots of money. Then he can't be mad. I've been around. If a man has lots of money, he's just eccentric, which I think really neatly points out the double standards by which the wealthy and poor are judged. Like by any metric, you would be judged as not right, except that you have money. So of course you're right.
I mean, I think a really obvious example of that is hoarding.
Yeah.
You know, you can have the same amount of stuff, but if you have a professional cleaner come in and dust it all the time, then suddenly you're not a hoarder.
If it's on shelves, then
Yeah.
you know, that makes it all okay.
This is jumping ahead a little bit, but I think,
I mean, we've kind of been jumping around the whole time.
I mean, so I'm not even talking about this book anymore.
Oh.
But on the same note, something that I probably, well, maybe this is just the corner of the internet that I inhabit, but probably the most quoted passage from Terry Pratchett is Sam Vimes' economic theory of bootstraps.
Yeah.
Or that's not exactly what it is, but
it's his economic theory of, it might just be boots or boot soles, because he's talking
right
specifically about boot soles and wearing out.
We'll get into that when we get to those books, but I just think that's an oft repeated quote of Pratchett's, and just kind of reinforces his really pithy way of just sort of exposing and digging into these soft points in society that maybe people get comfortable with not looking at.
That's a quote from Men at Arms, by the way.
Okay.
His theory of economic inequality or whatever.
I thought it had a sillier name than that. That's just a very serious name.
The Sam Vimes Boots theory of economic injustice.
There you go.
But it comes from the book Men at Arms.
Well, we'll get there someday.
We will get there eventually.
And we'll talk about it again.
We will. But yeah, I mean, a theme that runs through his books are these, he points out some of the more unpleasant realities of our world through means of humor in this fantasy world. And he does it really, really well.
He gets away with being a lot more pointed and explicit because he's talking about, because he's ostensibly talking about the Discworld, right?
Right.
So he is criticizing the Discworld, but of course, when you're reading it, you're like, well, obviously that is also true about our, our society. When it's couched in jokes and talking about this flat planet on the back of 4 elephants on the back of a turtle swimming through space, it just softens it.
A spoonful of sugar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. A spoonful of Discworld.
One thing not really related to the social commentary at all, but that I get a big kick out of, is that he paints druids as sort of the equivalent of engineers. And they're talking about like, oh, our computer programming can't be wrong. These giant stones that we have can't be wrong. It's actually the sun that's wrong. And I mean, that's my field, and I love it. It makes me so happy. I laugh every time I see it.
I had actually completely forgotten about that, and when I got to that part, I almost did a spit take.
It's so good.
It's so charming.
It is. Charming is a really good way to describe this book and his writing in general, I think.
You know who else is very charming? Death.
We see a much more familiar Death, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
He's much closer to the Death that appears in the later books.
In this book, Two Flower is trying to teach the 4 riders of the apocalypse. I got the impression it was Bridge.
Yes, I think it's Bridge.
And it's some goofy Discworld version of Bridge.
Well, there's a running joke throughout the first book and this book that a lot of Two Flowers language doesn't really translate well, like it's modern language, and that he would use terms like insurance and dentures and things like that, and that doesn't translate well to the Ankh-Morpork dialect. And so there's a lot of miscommunication around the characters trying to explain in outlandish ways, like making the mouth sounds for dentures or insurance or whatever in sewer ants.
Now, there is one other note that we have to get to, just because it involved you texting me, is ejaculate masculine?
I was asking because I did very specifically want to call wizardry ejaculatory, because at one point, Rincewind is doing magic, which is not something that he's used to doing. As I think we've said before, he's a very bad wizard. The text says that he's possibly the worst wizard on the disc, but he has this spell in his head, and this spell is essentially doing magic through Rincewind. And he says that he talks about how it was better than orgasming. And I made a note because I think actually this is one of the only times in the series that Pratchett actually talks about like orgasms, at least using that term, but that's not something that I could Google on my computer because I use my work computer for everything. That's not a phrase you want in your work computer history.
One of our clients was a sex toy chain, so I could Google whatever I want.
Aren't you lucky?
Well, not the exact same thing, and probably comes up more often just because of the trope of virginity in human culture.
I think that he talks about it, but not in so blunt terms.
Right. Well, when Bethany is introduced, one of the reasons why she's so mad, Bethan, who is the sacrifice that they rescued from being sacrificed. The reason she gives for being so mad is that all of those Saturday nights where I just did nothing down the drain.
I mean, you know
how hard it is to stay.
Can you blame her? Like,
not at all.
I'd be a little peeved too.
Yeah, that's a commitment. But that's an example of Pratchett being a little bit more coy. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't even use the word virgin until like 3 pages later. But a sacrifice, saying that she went something in order to qualify as a sacrifice. We all know what she was talking about.
Yeah, I would argue that one knows even earlier, because I feel like druids and virgin sacrifices are something that's ingrained in popular culture, if not actual like historical realism.
Homegirl was dressed in all white. I think we know what that means. But Pratchett communicates exactly the situation without actually saying it outright.
Right.
Whereas when Rincewind is talking later about magic, it feels a lot more to the point.
Yeah.
And I'm explicit, but then I'm not saying that like the word orgasm is explicit, but
I mean it's comparatively explicit.
In a figurative language sense, not in a dirty language sense.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so because wizardry is very much a boys' club, as we've said before, like the Unseen University only accepts men. It's all old men at the top of it. So my note was wizardry is ejaculatory.
And that's backed up in later books, and it does feel bad pulling. That doesn't feel bad. It feels like cheating, pulling in stuff that I know happens later because it hasn't happened yet. But we do eventually meet witches. We do later see a society of magic users that are women, and it is very completely not wizardry. And I do think a lot of that is Pratchett pulling from our culture, right?
I mean, there's the the maiden, mother, and crone trope and the wise woman trope that he's playing on. Yeah.
Female magic users in stories tend to be othered. They're the witches in the swamp. They're not the wizard at court helping the king.
They also tend to not have as academic a kind of magic. Like wizardry tends to be very rule-based, whereas witchcraft is more emotion-based. I mean,
well, that almost harkens back to ancient Greek philosophers saying women are more similar to animals than people because there's not even anything going on in their heads. Like, yeah, people have been saying that about ladies for a very long time.
Yeah.
and Pratchett is just sort of...
Yeah, I mean, he's playing on that.
Is running with that. Yeah. So I just wanted to back him up. And, like, he didn't make all of the wizards dudes and all of the witches ladies because that was his decision. Like, he clearly has a basis in cultural references.
Yeah, he's very clearly, like, playing it's just another trope.
Well, let's leave our listeners off with a short excerpt from The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett.
Okay, this is a quote from kind of the end of the book, and I really like it because I think it's a good reminder that no, you might not do any good or be any use in a situation, but that's not necessarily a reason to not try. And it is Two Flower talking to Rincewind. Hold on, he said, as cheerfully as he could manage. This sort of thing is a job for the likes of Cohen, not you. No offense. That's Rincewind, by the way. Would he do any good? Rincewind looked up at the actinic light that lanced down through the distant hole at the top of the staircase. No, he admitted. Then I'd be as good as him, wouldn't I? Said Two Flower, flourishing his looted sword.
So I got a great, or maybe an excellent series of texts from you the other day.
A very annoyed series of texts, anyway. I don't know about great or excellent. But yeah, I was reading a fan fiction, and the main character, one of the main characters, has a very strong Cockney accent. And so the author wrote that out, like, and I can't even, I mean, I don't really want to make you suffer through hearing me try to approximate it.
But that's what reading it was like, I assume.
Yes, yes. It was a very phonetic dialogue where there were lots of, missing consonants and like oohs, and it was awful. Like, it was painful to read. I had, blood streaming out the side of my ears. Like, it was just, it was so bad. And I think strong accents like that, like, I don't mind a hint of an accent here and there, but like strong accents that are...
Well, it's okay if a character has an accent. It's just how they write it.
Yeah, I certainly don't mind if a character has an accent, and I don't even mind if it's written into the dialogue a little bit, but when it's a really strong accent, it's so jarring to see it in the like phonetically in the dialogue. Like, it completely takes me out of the story if I'm trying to decipher what they're saying, because they're missing, they're missing letters all over the place.
I think accents are one situation where I would rather you tell and not show.
Yes, definitely. Like, okay, so maybe, for example, if they're French and they have some Z's in there, like, that I can deal with, but anything stronger or harder than that, I'm like, please just tell me, don't show me. But so that's my pet peeve for the episode.
That sure
it
is
was
frustrating.
Horrible. The fic is otherwise very good, so I'm going to continue to read it, and I hope that the accent just goes away at some point, like elocution training or something. But
Maybe that'll be a whole plot arc. This character goes through speech therapy.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how much more of that I can take.
Well, fingers crossed for you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Fiction Fans.
Come disagree with us. We're on Blue Sky and Instagram at FictionFansPod. You can also email us at fictionfanspod@gmail.com or leave a comment on YouTube.
If you enjoyed the episode, please rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and follow us wherever your podcasts live.
We also have a Patreon where you can support us and find exclusive episodes and a lot of other nonsense.
Thanks again for listening, and may your villains always be defeated.
Bye!